You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Glad you can join me on this Monday of All Things Sports with Mike Davis. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, follow the podcast. If you're on YouTube, do the same thing. Subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff that goes along with it. Go to the Facebook page to get in contact with the show for any comments or suggestions. I won't take up much more of your time. Let's get into it. All right, everybody. How's your Monday going? Happy Monday. Slow Monday. Boring Monday. You know how it is at the beginning of the week. A lot of us, we have to go in and deal with this thing that we like to call work. Monday. Things don't get better for me until Hump Day, Wednesday. I hear that Hump Day all the time now because of my name. Hump Day, Wednesday. But all right, you know what I have to talk about before I get into today's topic. So, lately I've been a movie buff, and I must say I saw Saving Private Ryan for the first time ever yesterday. But that's not the movie I want to talk about. I'll talk about that on another day. I recently saw King Kong versus Godzilla. Okay. So I can tell you I'm not one of those people that grew up watching, the Godzillas and the King Kong movies. I've seen pieces of the movies here and there, so I really couldn't tell you much about it. So I don't know how this is going to come off, but I saw the movie that recently released, and I thought it was just okay. It was a lot of fluff, if you will. It was a lot of just walking around and, talking. People hate when I talk like this. I know I have buddies that hate when I say all they were doing was just walking and talking, and people go, "Oh, well, that's what they do in movies, Michael. They walk and they talk." Well, for me, I need a little bit more action. I must say I enjoyed the fighting scenes in the movie. The action was spectacular. Love the action in the movie. Outside of the action, typically most movies are like running time an hour and a half. So most fight scenes really realistically are maybe 10 to 15 minutes in a movie. Give me the 15 minutes of the movie and get rid of the rest. That's how I felt about the Kong versus Godzilla. I'm not sure how people perceived it, that, how they took the movie, that grew up liking the movie, or, they have a big interest in any of the Kong series or the Godzilla series. Like I said, myself, I wasn't into that growing up. That wasn't my thing. So I went into it open-minded. I wasn't really expecting much, honestly, and it was what I thought it was going to be for me. Enjoy the action. Other than that, it was an okay movie. I didn't really care much for the storyline. I felt the storyline could have been a little better. Could have been a little better than what it was. But go see Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Kong, however it's titled. Go check it out. You might like it. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I just felt that it could have been just a little better. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. All right, so let's get into the reason that we are here. We are here to talk about New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick. Now, I want to know, is Bill Belichick the right coach for the New England Patriots? I mean, some things are coming out. I want to know, does Belichick know what he's doing in New England? It recently came out that head coach Bill Belichick ignored his personnel department, his scouting department, in picking, I hope I pronounced his name right, N'Keal Harry over Deebo Samuels of the 49ers and A.J. Brown of the Tennessee Titans, both of whom were preferred by the team scouts. Now, it came out that Belichick ignored that input and instead took N'Keal Harry based on Harry's performance during a non-workout visit to the team and Belichick's relationship with Harry's college coach, Todd Graham. See, I don't like when it's like the combine. I don't care much for the combine. The underwear Olympics, I didn't make that up. Someone else did. I heard that somewhere else, but I liked it. The underwear Olympics that they make the players go through. I can't stand those things. I feel like it's a waste of time. Players don't want to really do it. They just do it because they have to. Look, you have game tape. Game tape doesn't lie. I don't want to see speed in a performance workout. That speed is going to be different from game speed. So I can't stand, let me just get that out there. I can't stand teams when they select guys based on, he graded out very well in, team activities when we brought him in for a private workout. Anybody can do well that performs at that caliber that those players perform at. They're athletes, they're trained for this. Some of them have been training their whole lives for this moment. So they can perform excellent. Now let's take a look at some of the stats from these guys. A.J. Brown, who I think is a stud. A.J. Brown is going to be one of the best receivers in the league very soon. I mean, we're talking about he might even have his breakout season next year. I still don't think a lot of people know about A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown has already had 2 1,000-yard seasons. And he's been quarterbacked by Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, the same Tannehill that Adam Gase in Miami tried to tell you was garbage. And I told my dad this. My dad is a Miami Dolphins fan. And, not to get away from the point. But I told him, Ryan Tannehill is not a bad quarterback. And I told him, I said, whenever I look up, the Dolphins are losing, but he's got like 300 yards throwing in the game. And my dad was going all on, Tannehill's this and Tannehill's that. Ryan Tannehill got to the AFC Championship game with the Tennessee Titans. That's all I'm saying. So, A.J. Brown, last year with Ryan Tannehill, 1,075 yards receiving, 11 touchdowns, 70 catches for one Mr. A.J. Brown. As I mentioned, he has 2 1,000-yard seasons already. I think people don't know about him because he plays for the Tennessee Titans. And I'm telling you, the guy is a stud. I think next year could be his big breakout year. Look out for A.J. Brown. The next guy, Deebo Samuel, who Belichick passed on. All right. Now, his rookie year, he had 802 yards, 3 touchdowns, 57 catches receiving. All right. So last year, he only played 7 games due to injury. I believe he broke his foot or something like that. And he missed the rest of the season, only played in 7 games. And he finished just shy of 400 yards. I believe it was 390 yards receiving. So that's another guy Belichick passed on that he could have gotten help for Tom Brady in New England. But remember, it's Belichick's way, and just do your job. All right, now let's get to the guy that Belichick wanted as a favor. I won't even say favor, but the story mentioned, he has a good relationship with Harry's college coach, Todd Graham. So let's look at N'Keal Harry's stats. Only 7 games his rookie year. He had a horrible rookie season. The stats are so bad, they're not even worth mentioning. Just know he played 7 games his rookie season. Last year, with Cam Newton throwing him the ball, 309 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, 33 catches for Mr. N'Keal Harry. Now, I went and I had to see who N'Keal Harry was. I never heard of the guy. Okay, this is how under the radar, how much under the radar this guy is. So I went and saw some highlights, and I wanted to see him not just in highlights, just to see him just in just a regular flowing offense with Cam Newton. The guy can't break tackles. The guy cannot break tackles. He catches the ball and is down right there. You throw him a 3-yard pass, you throw him a little wide receiver screen, and that's where the play ends, right there. 3-yard gain. And he's a big dude. He's a big receiver. And you would think he could break a lot of those tackles. But when I looked at him, he couldn't break a lot of tackles. And I saw New England Patriot fans were saying that he has a lot of potential. I didn't see it. I'm not going to lie to you. I just didn't see it. All right, so getting back to the story, recently Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, he went on to PFT Live and had this to say. He said, really, it comes down to the teams that draft well. Those are the teams that will be consistently good. This is what he also told reporters last Wednesday. He went on to also say that I don't feel like we've done the greatest job in the last few years in drafting, and I really hope and believe that I've seen a different approach this year. Now, I turn over to Bill Belichick, and let's get into what he's been doing. I want to put this out there for people. I really want to put this in perspective to if Bill Belichick knows what he's doing. When I say, does he know what he's doing, I don't mean like the guy can't coach. The guy knows football. You're not going to be in that profession as long as he has, and you don't know football. You know, he's been coaching, I believe, since the 70s. You know, he was a coordinator under Bill Parcells on the Super Bowl winning Giants. So the guy knows what he's doing, but the problem is you have coaches that they get in their own way. They're Mr. Know-it-all, you know. And when you have a player like Tom Brady, he can hide some of those things, some of those problems that's going on with the coach. I got to put this out there. Bill Belichick only has one winning season without Tom Brady. Only one winning season. You want to know when that season was? You got to go back to the 90s. I'm talking about like 1994. I believe it was 94. It was 94 or 95 when he coached the Cleveland Browns. He coached them for 4 seasons. He had one winning year out of those 4 years of coaching the Browns. It was 1 year he went 11-5. That's his only winning season without Tom Brady, people. He was the head coach from 91 to 95. So I take it back. It had to be 94 when he went 11-5. Now, during his time with the Browns, a lot of people, you know, these new age kids, you know, they don't understand that Belichick was coaching before New England. They think he just came on the scene with Tom Brady and he just started winning. No. Belichick's been doing this for a while. With the Browns, he went 36-44. That was his career record. 94 was his only winning year of the team. It was so bad. Think about it. Nick Saban came out and said in an interview that was the worst time in the NFL for him when he was a coordinator with the Browns under Belichick. Not for what he did in Miami, but in Cleveland. You know, I just think Belichick rubs people the wrong way. He's a Mr. Know-it-all. You know, he has the Super Bowls and the credentials now because of Brady. And I think Brady just got fed up with it, you know. And then when he went to Cleveland, remember, he had the Super Bowl wins under Bill Parcells as a coordinator. I think the Pats won in spite of Belichick. I think that they won because of Tom Brady. And now we're seeing what he can do now. I'm not going to cancel him just yet. He's got one more season. This upcoming season for me. Let me see what he's going to do, because I'll give him a fair shake. Last season, you know, he had some guys that didn't want to play because of COVID, so I understand that. Guys are going to be coming back now, and the Pats went out and spent a lot of money in free agency. So we're going to see this year what Bill Belichick is really about when it comes to coaching. We'll see. But I'm going to hold off on Belichick. I'm not going to say that he doesn't. Oh, it's hard to rate this. It's hard to rate this. He's got one more season for me. If he fails this upcoming season, Belichick doesn't know what he's doing, and he needs to be fired. It is time to go. I mean, the thing that got me is the only one winning season without Tom Brady. That's what got me. So we'll see what happens this upcoming season with the New England Patriots. All right, so let's get into this day in sports history. April 12th, 1965, the first National League game is played at the Houston Astrodome. Now, I've been to Houston. NRG Stadium is beautiful, but it sits right next to the Astrodome. The Astrodome is still sitting there, people. If you've never been to Houston, it's still sitting there. And the Astrodome hasn't really been taken care of over the years. And when you see it next to you got NRG, and then when you go behind it and you see the Astrodome, you're like, ugh. Like, it's day and night between the two. So I don't know what they're going to do with the Astrodome. I've never been inside of it. I always wanted to go inside and see the crazy red and yellow seats that they had going around the dome. But also in 1966, the next year, on this day, April 12th, my Braves, Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, opened up. And you might be saying, why is he talking about stadiums? I have this unique fascination with baseball stadiums. I love the construction of baseball stadiums. I love how they're made. I love going to baseball stadiums. I've been to plenty of baseball stadiums. I will tell you, Fenway is not high on my list. I've been to Fenway. I don't see what the fascination about Fenway is. What is it, Yawkey Way? Is that what it is? That horrible street? There's no team store on the inside of the stadium. It's across the street. But opposite of that, I love Wrigley Field. Love Wrigley. Wrigley might be the best stadium I've ever been to. You can feel the history just walking around Wrigley. I don't like that they're renovating it, doing all the other stuff outside. I like how it looked before that. It was clean. It was classic. But anyway, though, I digress. One more entry. 1992 on this date, the second lowest NBA scoring game happened. The Detroit Pistons beat the New York Knicks 72-61 with a college score. All right, hey, look, that's all I got for you today, folks. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, follow the podcast. If you're on YouTube, go ahead, comment, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Share it with your friends, with the people. Go to the Facebook page to get in contact with the show for comments or any suggestions. You've been listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis. And remember, it's your world. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm out. Peace.
You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.